Attending UA High is a student that definitely stands out amongst the rest of his class, even as he shifts back into the shadows. That, of course, is Fumikage Tokoyami. Continuing in my series of videos looking at all sorts of different suit upgrades for the students in MHA's Class 1A, I want to finally take some time to talk about Tokoyami, because I've been promising to do so for over a year now, and he's one of my favorite characters in the class. So let's talk about how he could potentially grow just from the addition of one or two things to his hero design. You guys can follow me on Twitter at VocalPineapple, and you can like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to join the Pineapple Agency and get notified whenever I upload. I want to talk about the legend born in shadow that is Tokoyami, but first, I actually have a word from this video's sponsor, Kings of Deliciously Edgy Naming, Raid Shadow Legends. Tokoyami gets to play the role of a hero in the My Hero Academia world, but he would definitely find himself more at home in Raid's dark fantasy RPG universe. I could see him giving the game a chance since it is free to play, and once he did, maybe he'd look for a dark bird themed legend and head straight into Raid's fully voiced story. But there are other options too, like joining others in battles against clan bosses like a true hero, or even diving into the dark pits of the arena to take it all out on other players in PvP battles. If I were him, I'd probably head over to the tavern to show off all of my new upgrades, just like the ones that we're going to be designing for Tokoyami in this video. Now, I'm a big RPG nerd, and I've spent more hours than I'm comfortable explaining, to be honest, on these types of games. And Raid really reminds me of games that keep old school RPG elements in mind with a modern twist, sort of like Divinity 2. Unlike games like that sort of just come and go, Raid gets updates fairly often, and you can get rewards in-game from playing every day. If you're worried about battery life, check out Raid's new PC version, which is even cross-device, so you can play with the same account on both devices and switch between at any time. Add my nickname Vocal Pineapple, and new players can use the link in the description to create a fresh account with 100k bonus silver and free access to Hexweaver, a shadowy champion that takes advantage of hexes and curses to bend her enemies to her will. They'll be waiting in your inbox for you, so click the link in the description, download and play Raid, and become your own Shadow Legend. Remember, you have 30 days from the time of this upload to click the link and get those rewards, so make sure you click as soon as you can. With that said, it's time to talk about another Shadow Legend, Tokoyami, after that intro. Hit it! So why does Tokoyami need a costume upgrade? Well, his existing costume is fine, but I feel like he could definitely be getting more out of it, and at the end of the day, he tends to rely on Dark Shadow more than he ever needs to rely on support items or his costume, so why not give him some extra functionality? He wears a pair of bracelets, a black compression shirt, matching baggy black pants, a black cape, and a big belt buckle right next to the pouches that he carries on the sides that I'm sure are filled with medicinal supplies for the victims that he saves or birdseed or something. What stands out the most in his costume is the bright red choker that he wears around his neck, so that's something that'll of course stick around with the redesign. I want to say that one thing that was specifically left out was some sort of jetpack or huge fake wings that Tokoyami could use to fly. Tokoyami learns to fly, or really glide, from spending some time with Hawks and training Dark Shadow specifically for that purpose. But even though I think his flying could definitely be improved, I think the solution for how Tokoyami is going to learn how to fly more freely is going to come from personal growth and not just from his costume. So again, we didn't really look into too many ways to improve Tokoyami's flying too much, but I guess there is ways that he could at least stay in the air for longer periods of time, thanks to what some of these upgrades would allow him to do. So with all that said, what were the goals of this upgrade? First and foremost, we wanted to give Tokoyami the ability to regulate Dark Shadow's power even at nighttime. It was important that we made it so Tokoyami had some level of control over Dark Shadow built into his suit, because not only can Dark Shadow rampage and cause others damage, but if Dark Shadow rampages while Tokoyami is wearing him in his full black Ankh form, there's really no defense against it that Tokoyami himself can rely on. This suit features designs that are meant to at least give Tokoyami a fighting chance at shining a light on Dark Shadow and controlling his power. Second, we wanted to reduce Tokoyami's overall reliance on Dark Shadow for times when he doesn't need to use him, or using him might be unwise due to the level of darkness and Tokoyami's emotional state. For times where Tokoyami wants to be able to fight without Dark Shadow by his side, we've given Tokoyami some tools to make him a bit more dangerous to get near. Since one of Dark Shadow's biggest uses is long-range attacks, we wanted to give Tokoyami some long-range options that he could use with or without Dark Shadow, and I think the design manages to add a nice level of utility for Tokoyami, giving him a number of new things that he can do and take advantage of. Third and finally, we wanted to make sure that while the upgrade does focus on making Tokoyami himself much more useful and self-reliant, it also keeps in mind that Dark Shadow and Tokoyami are are inseparable, and when Tokoyami does have control over Dark Shadow, he's able to do some pretty amazing things with them. While some of the upgrades are about keeping Dark Shadow under control, some of them are made with Dark Shadow in mind, since his existence and his dark form of energy could definitely be used in various ways to create new strategies and opportunities with whatever Tokoyami has at his disposal. While putting everything together, we also wanted to have a little bit of fun and show off a different look for Tokoyami's outfit under his cloak to give him more of a unique look and also to really let him enjoy those Edgar Allan Poe vibes that he loves so much. At the same time, if his cloak is extended all the way out, you wouldn't see much of a difference in his outfit, and he's free to use his regular outfit at any time by just adding these two pieces onto it. So what specifically does Tokoyami have now that he didn't have before? Well, let's start with his brand new cloak. His cloak is retractable now, so Tokoyami can keep his cloak on and cover his entire body, but you can also have it get smaller, allowing him to move his arms around more freely. This feature also allows Tokoyami to control how much light is hitting Dark Shadow during the daytime, so if he wants to keep Dark Shadow's power low, he can keep the cape up in its retracted state. That way there's less shadow for Dark Shadow to use as a source of his power. With the cloak completely extended, there's the usual area of shade and darkness that Dark Shadow thrives on. The inside of the cape is double lined with special pigments that each serve their own purpose. The white pigment increases the reflectiveness of the cloak so that it can reflect and generate more light with less incoming light needed. This would of course be useful for making use of incoming light to take control of Dark Shadow, but Tokoyami could even get really cheeky and use his cloak to use a reflection of the sun to solar flare his opponents, using the light but still having his revelry in the dark as he wails on his enemy while they rub their eyes and suffer in their blind darkness. Tokoyami can switch the dominant pigment currently taking effect and go from white to Vanta Black. This special Vanta Black coating creates a zone of pure darkness within Tokoyami's cape. Vanta Black itself is some of the world's darkest material as it reflects virtually no light at all. It looks like a hole in space when you see it, especially if it's painted onto something like a ball. The special version of this material used for Tokoyami's cloak gets Dark Shadow absolutely fired up, and at night, it really makes it seem like Tokoyami and Dark Shadow are finally one with the shadows. I think it would really make Dark Shadow's power that much more potent because again, his strength is based on how much dark there is, and this material again reflects nearly zero light. The second and final support item added to Tokoyami's kit are a pair of new gloves. Tokoyami isn't exactly known for his hand-to-hand combat ability, but ever since learning how to wear Dark Shadow, he's actually become a massive force to be reckoned with, being even more impressive now in the manga after interning at Hawks' agency. Tokoyami can definitely do some major damage to you if you get close, but why not add a little more spice and versatility to his skill set? These new gauntlets are made of an incredibly durable steel alloy, but the metal has been treated with the same Vanta Black pigments used in Tokoyami's cloak. This makes the gloves look like there's an almost dark, smoky sort of finish that looks like shadows dancing instead of metal shining when you get close and look at it. Dark Shadow has his own Wolverine-style hand claw attachments, so why not give Tokoyami himself some hand-to-hand tech to rely on? Continuing with Tokoyami's bird theme, if Hawks' goal was to give Tokoyami his wings, ours was to give Tokoyami his talons. These gauntlets have talon-like attachments at the tips of the fingers that also sort of look like sharp little beaks. These are insanely sharp and allow Tokoyami to cut into cars and metal doors to help get others out of the way of danger, but of course they could be used as a dangerous tool against more durable or dangerous villains. Having these extended tips in the fingers also helps enhance Tokoyami's grip because the ends can lock into their place, digging into whatever Tokoyami's holding, making it so nothing can escape the gripping dark. These gauntlets don't stop at just having short-range functionality though, because if you notice, the finger attachments also sort of mimic the shape of Dark Shadow's head. If Tokoyami aims his fingers and hands forward, he can actually send these flying from their sockets as high-speed projectiles. By sending out a bit of Dark Shadow's energy along of these projectiles, he can even actually use Dark Shadow to control the speed and trajectory of these projectiles, and when he does so, the projectiles get coated and filled with Dark Shadow's energy. With a little eye-shaped hole revealing the gold piece underneath, it's sort of like Tokoyami can shoot little flying Dark Shadow chicks out of his hands, but worry not because of course the energy that's used to control the projectiles is still linked to Tokoyami and Dark Shadow. This means that like a fisherman reeling his line back in, Tokoyami can quickly pull in and return his loose projectile claws from wherever they're dug into, but with enough strength, he might even be able to drag enemies around by sending all 5 claws into his opponent, locking in and retracting his claws to bring bring the person all the way to Tokoyami. Get over here style. Now I know adding 2 items seems like it isn't much, but Tokoyami is actually massively skilled and doesn't need much to make himself an even more dominant force. We know that he got a massive boost thanks to training at Hawks' agency, but I still think there should be more of a focus on Tokoyami himself developing apart from what he can do with Dark Shadow. Like I've said, him developing on his own would lead to new heights when him and Dark Shadow do team up, and these 2 support items reflect our ideas on how to add to what Tokoyami can do without doing too much. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing how we'd upgrade him, and let me know who else you want to see get new designs or upgrades in the future. Shout out to the artist Daru Artworks for working on these for me, and thanks again to Raid for sponsoring the video. With that said, I'm going to go back to editing and writing because I am planning a couple things this week, so I'll see you guys later. This is Pineapple. I love you guys. Peace.